This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Let's go!
Welcome in to another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. First post-game show of the year. Patriots defeated the Washington football team 22-13 tonight in their first preseason game. I'm here with a special guest, Pat Discuss, also known as Jacob. How's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Yourself?
Pretty good. Finally got some football back to talk about, to watch, go back and watch some film. But super exciting. I was so excited to see these guys on the field, some of these new guys in the Patriots uniforms and just getting a taste of some real football, even if the starters were only out there for a half.
It's good that football's back. Nothing better.
No, absolutely not. So let's hop right in with obviously the topic that everyone wants to talk about, the quarterback competition, how that went, and your thoughts on both quarterbacks' performance tonight.
I thought the quarterbacks did pretty well, both of them actually, and I'm not counting Brian Hoyer because in my mind he's not even really on the team. Cam Newton was good, not great. I had him for 2 positive plays, 1 negative play. The really only negative play I saw was he missed his screen pass. But the real story today is Mac Jones. I had him for 6 positive plays, 3 negative. He had his second throw of the game. I think it was that deep pass down the sideline to him. It was a dime, perfect throw in the bucket, just really good throw. He just couldn't catch the ball, of course. Yeah. The offense, like a lot of quick throws in the hurry up offense, tight windows, good anticipation. Like the offense looks a lot better. It looks a lot smoother with Mac Jones in it versus Cam Newton. And here's why. And it's not even a knock on Cam Newton, because you talk about this all the time, is that if you do or don't believe in Cam Newton, but the fact of the matter is this offense, he's not a good fit for this offense and what the offense does. Like we tried to run the Brady offense last year with Cam Newton, and that's just not what he's ever had to do in his career. He's a type of passer that if he's not going to throw it until he sees it, what the Patriots do, it's a bunch of timing routes, anticipation throws. Like he's never been able to do that, and he's never had to, because that's just not what he's ever ran before. But a guy like Mac Jones can run this offense, and I thought today he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, honestly. This is my first taste of seeing him in live action. I didn't go to training camp, so I never saw him live or anything like that. So I was really looking forward to seeing how he did and his command of this offense being so early and being a rookie. But I was really surprised and I was impressed. I was super happy with his performance. I thought he had great command. It was noticeable how much quicker he got the ball out than Cam Newton. And
oh yeah,
he just his reads, his timing with the system already is a lot quicker than Cam. You see Cam kind of sit in the pocket, and I mean it was against more of the defensive starters, less of the defensive starters when against Mac, obviously, but it was impressive to see. And oh my God, that throw to Kristen Wilkerson down the sideline and having that confidence in perfect spot where only he could get it and hit him in the hands. He dropped it. It would have been a tough catch, but it was a beautiful throw. And then later in the game to Gunner, right?
Yeah,
Gunner.
it was Oshevsky. Missed him by an inch.
Overthrew him. That was a beautiful pass. Step to the left of the rush, recognized it was zone coverage and led him to only where he could get it. And he just overthrew it a little bit. But I was really impressed with what I saw from Mac today. Cam was okay. I thought he missed that screen pass, like you said. I thought he made one good throw on one of them, but he was all right. He wasn't phenomenal. It didn't really look any different than last year. I was hoping to see his process become a little quicker. It still looked like he was kind of standing in the pocket. It still looked like his accuracy wasn't incredible. I will say Mac Jones, to be fair, had a couple throws early on where his first completion that was ruled incomplete to Jacoby, that wasn't in the best location. And then he had one more, I think maybe it was on a screen pass. Anyways, he had
like
one
a
more that
3-yard
was
gain. I think it was one of those. It was on a third down.
to Jacob Johnson, the one that he would have got the first down.
Yes,
Probably
it was that one. That one was definitely, that was a tough catch. I was surprised he even caught that.
Oh yeah, I was as well. But so just ball placement, but that's early on. You know what I mean? He's got to have the nerves. I think those were both on his first drive. So first game in the NFL, first preseason game. So I cut him a little slack for that. But yeah, overall, I was really impressed with what Mac did, and I thought Cam was okay.
One conclusion I came to today, and I know it's one preseason game, but like I said already, is the scheme fit. This offense has a higher ceiling with Mac Jones at quarterback. Like you can argue like who's more talented. Like Cam Newton overall may be the more talented player, but just for what this offense runs and what they do, Mac Jones is more equipped to do it. Even now, I think. Like you can argue whether he's pro ready, like overall, but like in terms of the scheme fit, it's Mac Jones in a landslide. And that's not a knock on Cam Newton as much as people like to think it is. It's just not a fit.
I agree. And that's what I was so surprised about, though, is that already it seems like this offense runs smoother and looks better on the field with Mac at quarterback, which I figured we just had Cam for a full year in the system, and he's already gotten more time this training camp and this offseason to get more comfortable with these weapons in the offense. But I was shocked. I saw Mac go out on the field, and it looked like the offense was running smoother. And to see that from a rookie quarterback and see all the information that he's processed, and that coming out of the half, they put him in like a 2-minute drill situation where they went no huddle. To see him have command of the offense and still be calling good, making good checks at the line and getting the ball out quickly to who he's supposed to throw it to, I was super impressed with his ability to do that at such an early stage.
Yeah, he looks like he has control of the offense. And I remember I think it was 3rd and 4. It was like we just ran like 2 or 3 running plays already. 2 running plays like in a row. And you think at 3rd and 4, you got to pass it. It looked like he checked out of a play and into a run play and handed off to Sony, and it didn't convert.
He got 1 yard. He was 1 yard short.
Yeah, but just that fact alone, that he has the confidence and the control of the offense to think like, okay, I don't like what I see. Let's get out of this play and call something else. Like get into the backup play. And it's stuff like he's a rookie. He's been here for like 2 months, and he's already looks like he's been in here for longer than Cam's been here, for Christ's sake.
I agree. That's what I was so surprised about. And I was really happy to see, because like I said, I hadn't seen Mac in person so far. So all I'd seen is reports. I hadn't seen anything really with my own eyes, but seeing it with my own eyes and seeing it's definitely true. He looks like he has a better command of this offense, and he looks like the one who's the veteran, and Cam's a guy who's holding the ball longer, trying to figure out what's going on around him, and looks like he's new to the system. But
right.
Just, I don't know. I thought Mac made some really nice throws. I thought he had confidence throwing the football, even if he missed a couple. He had confidence throwing it. He threw it down the field a couple times, and he took his shots. So
he took his shots, and they were pretty good. So
yeah, they were. I mean, just missed Gunner, and that one to Wilkerson was a dime. That would have been beautiful if he caught that. It was that would have been crazy.
Pandemonium, like Twitter would have exploded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Gillette Stadium in general. Like when Mac came out, Gillette Nation, he would have exploded there at Gillette
yeah,
Stadium.
He was there today.
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only 3 plays I really saw that Mac missed was it was the Gunner throw, the Jacob Johnson, and I think he checked down to JJ Taylor on the beginning of that hurry up offense drive, where I thought he had Gunner open downfield, and he just either didn't see it. But besides that, he had a solid day. And there was a lot of times you saw like that. Remember the throw it was another throw to Wilkerson, that tight throw. It was like for like 5 or something yards. He threw it before he even made his cut. It was like between like 2 defenders and like away from his body. If you remember, it was like that throw. Oh my God.
Go ahead.
It was great placement. He threw it before he let go of it before he even came out of his break. Like just those are throws we just have not seen from Cam Newton, like in his time here, and it's really encouraging to see.
Not only that, but he had pressure in his face, and he stood in the pocket, and he was calm under the pressure and threw an absolute perfect throw where only Wilkerson could get it, back shoulder, anticipated it before he even made the cut. So his anticipation, timing of the routes, to throw that ball perfectly on time to where Wilkerson turns around, back shoulder, it's right there for him in between two defenders. It's like it doesn't get much better than that for, a rookie quarterback. That was beautiful. So I think he has a lot of potential in this offense, and it looks like this offense is just made for him as opposed to Cam Newton. But kind of sticking with what we've said so far, I mean, who do you think, based off what we've seen so far in preseason? I know it's only one game. I know it's early, but who do you think will start more games for the Pats this season?
My guess would have to be Cam Newton, because I just think at the end of the day, because it's not with Belichick, it's not about who's just being better in camp, like, who overall playing better. Because I think Mac Jones has outplayed Cam Newton so far in camp. But if with a rookie quarterback, look at how Miami handled it. Like, if you throw your quarterback in too early when they're not ready if they're not pro ready, then things could go south for not only the team but for the quarterback and his confidence, and you could put yourself in a big hole that way. So it's like, if Mac Jones isn't ready and Bill thinks that, it's going to be Cam Newton no matter how much Mac Jones outperforms him in camp. So my guess is that at least to start the year, I think it's Cam Newton. But as long as they're winning games throughout the year, it's going to stay Cam Newton. Like, Bill won't make a change unless they start losing games. And if they start off to a rough start, like let's say we pass the Bucks game and we're like 2-3, like after week 5, and then he might make a change. But if we're like 4-1, it's going to stay Cam Newton.
Yeah, even 3-2. I think if this team has a positive record to where they have some success, I think it's going to be hard for Bill to put Mac in unless he really feels it's ready, which I don't blame him. I don't want Mac to have the experience Tua had. I mean, look how much the media has jumped all over Tua, and absolutely nobody believes in him already, which,
right.
I mean, I don't think it's fair. He did struggle. Fitzpatrick had to come in for him in that Raiders game, and I don't know. It was a COVID year. He's a rookie. I think he deserves a little more time to figure it out, and we'll kind of see what he has this year. But I don't want to see Mac put in that situation. I want to make sure he's ready to go, which it looks like he is. But I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think if Mac continues to impress and continues to look like the quarterback who should be running this offense, I think it's going to be hard for people to not want to see him playing in these games. But I mean, ultimately, obviously, it's up to Bill. So we'll see what he decides. But I don't know.
And I'm going to contradict myself, because if Mac Jones comes as advertised, and he was advertised to be one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks in this draft, besides maybe the top 2, then you should be expecting him to play soon. But again, at the same time, like I just said, like, you don't want to put him in too early, because it is unfair for Tua for what he's going through right now. I think it's definitely unfair to come to conclusions with him, especially after just one season, after coming in so early. So, I mean, with Mac Jones, at the end of the day, I think Bill will do what puts the team in the best position to win, and whichever quarterback he thinks will put them in the best position to win this season. And if I had to guess, it's Cam. But I'm and I've been at this point since the start of camp. I'm like, I think it's 60-40 Cam. Like, Cam has a 60% chance of winning the job. Mac has 40. That's where I think it's at. It's that close.
And I haven't really been. I mean, I've been on the outside looking in as far as seeing it in person, like I've mentioned a couple times. But so I was under the impression, I was like, okay, it's going to be Cam's job for the year, or at least most of the year. He's going to get his opportunity to prove himself. If he can't do it with these weapons, he can't do it with this offense. Another year in the system, his time's done, and it's Mac's opportunity to see what he can do. But I've kind of been under the impression that it's going to be Cam's job to lose, Cam's job this season, and Mac's going to have to do a lot to take over that job. But I really was impressed with what he did tonight. And I think if he continues to have this success and build on what he did tonight and keep throwing with timing and anticipation and making the right reads, throwing checkdowns when he needs to, getting the ball out quickly. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that I was shocked about. And I've heard about it during training camp, but I was very impressed just seeing how quickly he got the ball out of his hands. It was just, we saw Cam last year, just like boom, 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 just holding the ball all day long until somebody comes and sacks him, or he has to run or throw the ball, and he makes, so just seeing how fast he's already picked things up, and that he's going through his reads, throwing it to where it needs to go, on time and quickly and getting the ball out and letting them make a play. I was really impressed with that.
And so I've been down at training camp for a few days, and I've kept a tally of which days I thought each quarterback won the day, and what I had up until the walkthrough, which was like the day before today, was I had Jones won 5 days, Cam won 3, and I had 2 ties. Overall, I think Mac Jones has outperformed Cam Newton at camp, but I still don't think it's enough for him to overtake Cam, because it's like you said, it's Cam's job to lose. That I think is for sure. I don't think it's an open competition. I think it's Cam's job. It's up to Mac to beat him out. And Bill Belichick has been telling us for a few days now, including today in the game, that he's leaving the door open for Mac Jones to take the job. Today you saw Cam Newton had a couple drives with the starters. Then Mac Jones also had a couple drives with the starters before the backups came in. They did the same thing in camp a few days ago, where they had Cam with the ones on 11 on 11s for about 13 plays. Next they threw Hoyer in with the backups for the same amount, and then they threw Mac in with the ones again to give the ones a break, so they were ready to come in with Mac Jones, and he led them down the field. So he's given Mac times with the starters to give him a shot at winning the job. And so I think the door is open for him. It's just a matter of Mac. He's really got to prove himself if he wants to take the job.
And that was one of the things that I was looking out for the most, is seeing how many snaps Mac got with starters. Because if Mac plays 2 quarters, but he's only in there with the bench guys, then that tells me that they're not really worried about him playing this year, but
exactly
in the future. But seeing him go out there with the starting offensive line, some of the starting receivers, was Jonnu on the field at all with Mac? I didn't see him, but
I believe so.
He was for that first drive.
He maybe. I know the starting offensive line was the weapons kind of rotated. I think Matt Lacoste was out there a lot with Mac more than Jonnu was. So I don't know about Jonnu.
Yeah.
And I saw Wilkerson and all that, but I don't. Yeah. When I judge it based on the starting offensive line, because the weapons are going to rotate no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
But the offensive line doesn't. So in a good offensive line is a young quarterback's best friend. So if he's getting meaningful snaps with the starters, that means they're giving Mac Jones a real opportunity. This is a real competition just for that fact.
And I mean, my little notes here that I have: Mac getting the ball out quickly. Mac, nice throw to Kendrick Bourne. That was a beautiful throw over the middle to Kendrick Bourne. That was another one, kind of threading the needle in between a couple defenders and some pressure getting up there. And then Mac puts it in the bucket for Wilkerson. He dropped it. Mac with a beautiful ball, just outside of the reach for Gunner. So just a little too far of a throw, but great back shoulder to Wilkerson. He had a lot of nice throws in a couple preseason quarters. So I don't know. I was really impressed with what he did today, and just seeing the success he had and how he's picked it up so fast. It makes sense of why we drafted him 15th overall, why we drafted him in the first round. He was labeled the most pro-ready quarterback, and so far he's shown that he's ready to keep up with the level of competition and this tough offense to learn and the pieces around him.
And one thing that bugs me of training camp is that the people who aren't there only see the highlights, right? So you see these highlights all over the place, because Cam Newton's had a few deep pass highlights from a few days of camp. He had 3 or 4 of them. But what people don't get is that besides those plays, Mac Jones is making better throws throughout for the majority of camp.
More consistently.
That's what happens. People love the highlights. The casual fan would just look at the highlights and the deep throws and whatnot. But if you're looking at efficiency, Mac Jones is definitely more efficient than Cam Newton in this offense. And I've said that a million times already, and I'm going to keep saying it until he gets the starting job. But it's a fact. And basically, even if Cam starts, the future looks good at the quarterback position so far. Again, it's been one game, so I don't want to jump too far. But
it definitely it shows flashes, though. It gives you some hope for what the future. You feel like we got a plan and we got a direction. We got a guy who seems like he has a good command of this offense already, and this early on, that shows a lot of promise. That shows hope for the future and what this offense can continue to be with a guy that's more of a scheme fit than Cam Newton. Like you kind of mentioned earlier, Cam is not really a scheme fit for this offense. What he did with Carolina and what he's being asked to do here and was asked to do last season, just it isn't the same. It's not built for him. It's something he hasn't done before.
It's completely different. It's completely different. And he's always been more of a big play guy than like an efficient passer. Like even in Carolina, when he was in his prime, he was a good passer. He wasn't an elite passer, but he was a good passer. And it's just it was always the big play. He's a big play player. And again, this offense it's more about efficiency and the quick timing routes. And he's just never been asked to do that. And again, it's not a knock on him. I'm not hating on him. It's just it's a fact. He's just never done that before. I'll be interested to see how the joint practices go, because how they manage like who gets the reps at what time will be interesting, and then just the preseason games in general.
And it seems like Bill kind of puts a lot of stock into that as well. Those joint practices and stuff that. Once you're going up against other competition and real guys who are trying to take your head off and challenge you, you know what I mean? So,
exactly.
But yeah, kind of going back to that Cam point, he ran more of a vertical passing offense, and this is more of a quick timing based scheme, a lot of slants, a lot of different option routes, stuff like that. It's not something he's done before. The one thing that I do think he'll have more success with this year is adding those two tight ends, adding a guy like John and adding a guy like Hunter Henry, who is a great zone breaker. He knows how to find the soft spots in zones and do different stuff like that. So having those two tight ends, when he had a guy like Greg Olsen, he had a lot of success with him. So that's what I'm excited to see. And I think he will have a little bit more success in that facet of the offense, at least.
Especially Jonnu Smith. I think he'll be Cam Newton's best friend, assuming he's the starter, because it's just they're going to create a lot of easy throws to him underneath, and he's just going to make a Manitou miss because because Jonnu is really good after the catch. So I think he's going to be Cam's best friend in this offense this year. He's going to have a good year.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Same with Jacoby Myers. Like last year, he was kind of Cam's security blanket. So I think we got a lot more weapons for Cam to be able to rely on and not to bail him out, but that kind of help him go back to more of a scheme fit of what he likes to do and the kind of plays that he likes to target. So
exactly.
I just overall it's like trying to fit a round hole into a square peg. Cam's not he's not a fit for this offense, and that's why seeing Mac run it so efficiently so early was so exciting today.
Exactly.
So let's move on to the wide receiver position a little bit, and a couple of the depth guys, N'Keal Harry and Kristen Wilkerson, both have looked like they've had great training camp so far. So what was your thoughts on their performance and how they did tonight?
Overall, pretty good. Like Wilkerson had a pretty good game. A couple drops, but overall he had a good game. He seemed to be Mac Jones' favorite target. The Myers I had Myers for 2+ plays. Bourne had a plus play. N'Keal Harry, I know I gotta say this. I know there's a lot of hype around there, and I've been down there. I've seen him in action. He's made a couple really nice plays. Like there was one play he had a corner of the end zone dive and catch. It was a great play, but overall, he's kind of the same player. He's not much different. He still doesn't gain separation on his routes. We saw that on one of the plays. Mac Jones got sacked. They showed the replay of it was Gunner across the middle and Harry doing running a post route. He does not gain any separation.
Blanketed. It was just blanketed in coverage.
Exactly. Yeah. He hasn't. Most of his highlight plays in camp have been against guys like Jalen Mills, who we'll talk about in a second, and like D Virgin, like these guys who just you don't know about because he hasn't made any plays against anyone like really good like JC Jackson. He's not much better. I'm not ready to buy into N'Keal Harry hype just yet. We'll see if he performs in other preseason games or if he even makes a team. But as of right now, I don't feel any better about N'Keal Harry.
I don't either. And I was really looking for him to have a good game today. I thought that it was a good opportunity, especially with Nelson Aguilar out. It's just one less wide receiver to compete with tonight. I thought it was a good chance. He started
the game.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally started the game because of that.
Yeah. And so I thought it was a good opportunity for him to prove himself and say that, hey, I'm a guy that you need to keep on this team. I can help in run blocking. I can be a red zone threat. I am a little lighter on my feet this year. I can create separation and be a guy that you can target and trust. When you throw the ball up to me, I'm going to go up and grab it. So, and I just didn't see that. It's just not. He doesn't look any different than he did last year. I heard all these things about at camp and that he did look a little slimmer. I've seen the great plays that he's made, but he didn't look any different to me. 1 catch for 4 yards. Nothing crazy, and it was something where he kind of had a little bit of run after the catch, but obviously not much if he only had 4 yards. So it was just, I was just disappointed, and also Kristen Wilkerson. I think I set my expectations too high for him because of all the things I've heard at training camp and how good he's been, but he struggled with some drops tonight. He had a couple drops, one in the end zone, that one we talked about with Mac Jones, and another one later in the game. I can't remember where that was.
It was like Mac Jones got hit and he delivered a pretty good ball, and he had it all the way until he hit the ground and he dropped it.
Yeah.
Which was like a killer. You got to catch that again for a player like him, like a little unknown. He did pretty well. But frankly, he's in the running with N'Keal Harry at this point,
which is sad.
Which is pretty sad for N'Keal Harry, but pretty good for Wilkerson.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I give him a shot to make the roster as like the last receiver. But I mean, again, he's actually gonna be fighting with N'Keal Harry, which is pretty funny. Because frankly, I don't see much of a spot for N'Keal Harry on this team. Because again, he looks the exact same. He doesn't look any different. He really doesn't, which is
it's so
really
unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. Yeah. And kind of like I said the other day, if Wilkerson can carve out a special teams role, that's just going to add to his value on this team. So I think if he can kind of show that he's valuable on special teams and can contribute in multiple spots on this team, then I think that adds to his case against N'Keal Harry, a guy who just wasn't worth his draft pick and has just struggled his whole career so far. And he's had a couple highlights where he's gone up and made some great plays, but other than that, hasn't created separation, hasn't been good after the catch like he was in college. You saw him in Miami last year. I don't know if I think it was week 1. He caught a ball on some type of screenplay and went to go run to get the first down and got just rocked by a corner that was a lot smaller than him. I was like, dude, you're huge. What do you run that guy over? What are you doing? So I'm
glad I wasn't the only one who thought that when I saw that.
Oh my God.
It was a corner. It was a corner that was half his height. He just demolished him.
It looks like he ran into a brick wall. It's like N'Keal, what's going on?
Like at least in 2019,
I thought you were an animal.
At least his rookie year, like he wasn't great with route running, but like when he got the ball in his hands, he made some plays. But and so I'm like, okay, maybe he's got that. And I guess he tried to slim down that offseason to run better routes, but he ended up making himself weaker and he still can't run routes. So it's just been a nightmare with N'Keal Harry. My goodness.
And I mean, he made that one nice back shoulder catch against the Cowboys with Brady.
Yeah, and he made like one catch. His best play was we talked about this on my podcast, but his best play ever was on a play that didn't even count. It was against Cincinnati.
Cheat. Oh yeah.
It was like the
non-touchdown to the Chiefs. I thought you were talking about.
That's second in his career highlights. But his
plays that didn't count.
His number one highlight was against Cincinnati. That play that got called back. He had that nice grab down the field. I think there was a false start or something, or a hold, but like it was down the right sideline. Brady chucked it up to him, and he made a great catch in double coverage.
He had a touchdown that game too, right?
He did later that game in the back of the end zone. But he made a great play, and it didn't even count. It got called back, and then there's that Chiefs game that we all know.
Oh my God, that still makes me angry. I don't. Just because the momentum of that season and how that game was going to where we were coming back, and I can't talk about it.
Oh man,
I'm gonna get triggered.
I love the hairy defenders that are like we don't use them right. That you got to throw them 50-50 balls. I mean, besides in Madden, you can't exactly do that all down the field. Like you
can't rely on that. You can't rely on throwing a guy 50-50 balls. That's not.
If you do that like more than 3 times on one drive, the other
probably gonna get picked.
The other team's gonna figure it out. Like you can't, to be a good receiver, like you can have a strength that could be 50-50 ball. You kind of got to do something else right too.
Yeah, and you can't just be a 50-50 receiver.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. He's not a good player. He's just not. I was flat out saying he's not a good player.
Yeah, which is super unfortunate. I mean, hopefully he shows more strides in this camp. But I mean, what do you think ends up happening with him this year? What do you think we end up doing with him? It looks like, I mean, 1 reception for 4 yards. His trade value is not boosted any. So, I mean, what are we going to get back for him in a trade? He had a good training camp, but that's just based off reports and stuff and a couple highlight catches. But I mean, if teams keep seeing him have lack of success in the preseason, I mean, what we're going to get a bag of chips for him, bag of Lay's barbecue chips or something? Like, I don't know. So what do you think ends up happening with the Keel situation?
So I mean, if he ends up making a couple plays, I feel like he gets traded. If nothing else happens, he might just flat out get cut. I don't think he has a role on this team, which is sad because remember his statement from his agent, that hilarious statement, being a dominant downfield threat,
yeah.
looking for a new opportunity. When for one, he's not a dominant downfield threat. We kind of know that. Second of all, this is the perfect opportunity to prove yourself because this wide receiving core is literally wide open. Besides Aguilar, it's literally wide open. We could use if we had Aguilar and then him on the other side, like a good physical receiver, and then like Bourne in the slot, that'd be a good receiving core. It's too bad he can't play, but if we can't get anything for him, he might just flat out get cut because right now I don't think he has a role on this team.
Have you seen some of I think it's Gabe Pats?
Oh yeah, how could
Gabe
you
Pats,
not?
he has some really funny stuff about Nikhil. I'm an animal, all that stuff.
I'm an animal.
Dominant.
Oh,
Yeah.
That video is wow. I've never looked at a video of like a player getting hyped and just being like so confused at the same time.
Yeah, it's like
he's sitting next to the machine.
Yeah. You caught a ball 1 inch from your hand.
He caught a ball a foot away from him, and he freaks out like he just recreated Odell's catch.
Yeah, yeah. That's
dominant
the dominant
threat.
Exactly. That's what he was doing.
Downfield threat.
So we'll kind of stay on the same topic, but switch it up a little bit. What did you see anything from Jacoby Myers or Kendrick Bourne that you liked tonight, or what were your thoughts on how they did?
Oddly enough, Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers seem like very similar players. They're little guys that run pretty crisp routes and they just get open and catch the ball, which is what I like. Bourne, Mac Jones had a good throw to him. And I think Cam had a throw to Myers early in that game. Myers I like them both, and they both had decent games. Neither of them played that long, but when they did, I thought they looked pretty good. And I'm excited to see them two together along with Aguilar, like over the top. And then you have like Johnny Smith. Like I'm excited to see that combination, no matter who the quarterback is. I think that's going to be a really good combination.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was kind of I was excited to see these two guys and see if one of them kind of stepped up with Nelson Aguilar out. But I mean, it was kind of a quiet day for both of them. I really didn't see Kendrick Bourne at all until that nice Mac Jones catch and throw that he had. But yeah, they're pretty similar receivers. I think Kendrick Bourne's a little better after the catch. But
I think so.
They're both great. I mean, that's
Bourne's a little stronger. Like Myers is a little
I feel like he's a little bit quicker too.
A little quicker, yeah. And Myers is a little light.
Yeah,
like he's a little guy. Like he's not short, but he's like little. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But Myers, I mean, it's not like Myers is like super slow or anything. He's within his route running is where he's really fast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Which is impressive.
He runs
he doesn't
really
have
nice routes.
He doesn't have top end speed, but his crispness of his routes, he creates a lot of speed within his different routes that he runs, which is why he can create separation. So yeah, I'm excited about both those guys. I honestly think I think a lot of people are going to doubt our receiving core this year, but I think with Aguilar taking the top of a defense, being a deep threat, having Bourne and Myers, two guys who can run great routes, different option routes, great after the catch, stuff like that, and having two tight ends who are good at different things. I with the great offensive line and good running backs, and if we have just solid quarterback play, I honestly think we can have a pretty solid offense this year.
See, that's my thing, and I am kind of a doubter of the receiving core. I want to see it in like a regular season game, but I'm really intrigued to see it. This is the thing about our offense; it has a lot of upside, and you just said it. Like it really does depend on the quarterback play. No matter who's in, Cam or Mac, as long as that person plays well. This offense has a lot of potential, and I would like to see. Again, I would like to see it in a regular season game, but today, it was encouraging.
Yeah, Absolutely, and
we're gonna be running the ball a lot. We got a stacked backfield. Like,
yes, we do.
Not to change topics, but like, man, Harris, Michelle even looks pretty good. JJ Taylor, Stevenson. Geez, the only guy in that core that's not very good is probably Brandon Bolden.
Bolden, yeah.
I forgot he was even on the team.
I didn't see him at all tonight. Did you?
No, he didn't play today.
Okay.
I think he was. He might have got. I don't know if he was active or not. I thought he was on special teams.
Maybe. I know I didn't see him in the backfield at least.
He's not getting a snap outside of special teams. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, especially with the depth we have at running back. But yeah, just one final point on the wide receivers, and then we'll move on to the running backs. We might not have the most talented wide receiving core and the most talented weapons outside, but the thing that excites me about it is how they fit together. You know what I mean? It's
right.
I think even if they're not the most talented players, all of them, we don't have a top 5, top 10 receiver in the NFL by any means or anything like that. But I think a lot of the things that they do well, I think fit together well. Jonnu Smith is great, a great zone breaker tight end who can sit in the soft spot of his zone, catch the ball, create after the catch. Jonnu is tremendous at creating after the catch. You can use him in a lot of different ways. He's versatile. We got, just like I just talked about, Nelson Aguilar take the top off of defense, add a speed element to this offense. I think the pieces fit together well. So I think that's what I'm most excited about with this wide receiver room in this tight end room in general. But we'll move on to the running back room. Kind of going, we can touch on the first guys in general. What did you think of Damian Harris and Sony Michel, how they did tonight?
Harris is a goddamn beast, and I was lucky to meet him the other day too.
I was gonna ask you about that real quick. Just sidetrack. How did that come about? I'm curious.
So I was with Gillette Nation and Pat's Perfect. Pat's Perfect was wearing a Harris jersey, and that they're not really technically allowed to come and interact with fans.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
But he came over anyways. Pat's Perfect got his gloves which was pretty cool.
Jersey. Yeah.
And we all got pictures with him, and he's a really cool dude. And I was so excited to see him tonight because he is a beast. I was already hyped for him to begin with, but man, he's gonna have a really good year. Even Michelle, who I've never really been high on for his tenure here, even after his Super Bowl year, I really haven't been high on him.
Yes,
but to start, this is the first time he's come out at camp looking healthy. He's got some explosiveness to him. Today he looked rather well. Nothing special, but he ran pretty well.
6 carries, 26 yards, 4.3 yards a carry.
Yeah, not bad. Pretty solid. Bad at all.
Yeah. Yep.
So I like that as a 1-2 punch, and then we'll get to the others in a second. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here.
Damian Harris just continues to impress, but I was also impressed with Sony Michel. I think he looks a little bit quicker than last year. He is healthy for the first time going into training camp, which I think is big, but we got so many different guys in this backfield that can do different things and a lot of guys that can do the same things as well. But I think that's going to be able to keep us having fresh legs, and especially at the running back position where that's a brutal position. Guys' careers don't last that long. So having depth and being able to have guys take drives off or switch guys out quite often, I think that just helps with the health and keeping these guys' legs fresh, especially with how often we're going to run the ball probably.
Oh yeah, we're going to run the ball a lot this year.
Especially, our offensive line. And that was a big strength of our team last year. I mean, especially if Cam's a quarterback, I think he adds an element to the run game. But yeah, right. I think we'll run the ball a lot. But kind of going to these depth guys, Ramondre Stevenson, JJ Taylor. Obviously, Ramondre broke that big run off at the end of the game. But what did you see from these two guys? And who do you think needs to have a bigger preseason to prove they can have a spot on this team this year?
It might be JJ Taylor. Stevenson, he was just drafted. I feel like he probably would get a redshirt year no matter what.
I thought he was going to catch the Foxborough flu, but maybe not.
I mean, maybe not because he did go off today. We'll see how the rest of the preseason goes, but I feel like he's just bound for that anyways because it's just they like to do that for rookie running backs because they did it for Harris, they did it for James White. Everyone but Sony Michel, pretty much.
And JJ Taylor was kind of a small outlier in that sense as well. He contributed a little bit last year at some points. Not a ton, but early in the season.
To start the year, yeah, but I feel like as they kept going, they pretty much redshirted him.
Once Damian Harris came back, it was over for JJ Taylor.
I feel like JJ Taylor would be an eventual James White replacement. I'm not saying now. I mean, I give it a chance now. Like James White looked pretty good today, so I'm not saying like because like my hot take was the James White is not a lock. I still don't think he's a lock to make the team. I feel like he could be traded, but in that contract he could be cut even if he really wanted. But I doubt it. I'm not banking on it. I think eventually I don't think he's gonna stick. James White's gonna stick around much longer. He's on a 1-year deal. I think JJ Taylor is primed to be his replacement. Like, will he be as good as him? I don't think James White. He's got quite a history, so I don't know if he can be quite as good as him. But I think he will be an eventual replacement as the third down receiving back. Stevenson, he might be the Sony Michel replacement because we didn't pick up Sony Michel's option. So I also have a hard time seeing him being here much longer. So he might be the power back as a complement to Damian Harris. So I think they both have a spot, and I feel like Stevenson would get a redshirt year, and we're going to be mainly with Harris, Michel, James White, and I feel like actually for this year, JJ Taylor is going to be in that Rex Burkhead role where he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I mean, he kind of fits that scheme, that mold of James White, Deion Lewis, that kind of guy.
Right.
Also, because I mean, he's a small running back, but I mean, seeing him look, what is he, 5'6"?
I have no idea, but he's like half my height. I swear. I you see him in person, he's so freaking short. He's like down to my shoulder.
I need to look it up. I think he's 5'6", either 5'6" or 5'8". 5'6".
Oh yeah, he's really short.
But seeing him lower his shoulder for a small guy like that tonight, that was I was like, oh, all right.
Oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, that was good to see. And then he got the first down after, I think, right?
I got up out of my seat for that one. That was great. I was like, gee, the little guy running someone over. Name something better than that. That's amazing.
Not much. Yeah, but I was impressed with Ramondre Stevenson tonight. I thought even before he broke off that 90-yard run or whatever it was, I was impressed with him on that drive before. I thought he got the ball like 4 or 5 plays in a row and ran it in. So they knew they were running it. They ran it anyway, and he did what he's supposed to do. He got a few yards each carry, and I thought he did solid. So we'll see how he continues to progress. It sounded like he's had not a crazy eventful training camp so far. So I think this preseason will be important for him and seeing if he wants to have any role at all in this team and not have a redshirt year, then I think continuing to have games, obviously not as crazy as this, but continuing to put good snaps together and good runs on tape is going to be big for him.
Exactly.
So we'll switch it up a little bit to some of the new faces. Which guys personally were you most excited to see? And then we'll kind of touch on a couple specific guys, Judon and Jonnu Smith. But which guy were you kind of most excited to see tonight out of the new faces?
So actually, the person I was most excited for didn't even play. It was Christian Barmore. But I
was so excited to see him too. I really want to see him play.
I really wanted to see him. But it was Mac Jones. It was Mac Jones because he's the quarterback, and I was high on him even before we drafted him. I think he would be a good player like that. I thought he fit this offense to begin with, so I was really excited to see him. I was excited to see Cam even. I know he's not a new face, but like I wanted to see both the quarterbacks because I was really curious about how both of them have progressed, and it's going to change a lot of what's going to happen in this offense. And Jonnu Smith is another one who I was really excited to see his run after catch ability, and damn, did that show. Yeah. I mean, I think he only had that one catch, right? But his run after catch ability was instantly on show there. You know what I mean? He broke a couple tackles and made it into a 9-10 yard run, something like that. Oh, 16 yard. 1 reception, 16 yards. Yeah, and he caught it a few yards past the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what he can do for us this year. But I was personally really excited about Mac, obviously, but Jonnu and Judon were my two on the offensive defense side of the ball that I was extremely excited to see. And just watching Judon, he is going to be great for us this year. I cannot wait to watch him this year. He's going to be the guy that on the defense side of the ball, I'm going to be keeping my eye on every game because he's fun to watch. He better not play another snap in preseason, or I'll be very upset.
Oh my God, my heart dropped. I was like, no way. I was like, he just tore his ACL. He's done. Like that's what it looked like with the way he dropped and slammed his helmet. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I was talking to my dad. I'm like, dude, I was like the play before. I'm like, he made a good play, and I'm like, good. We paid him all this money. He better play good. And then he gets hurt. I'm like, did we just watch that money go to IR?
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I thought he played really well, and I mean, we paid him a lot of money, so he should play well. But it was exciting to see. You know what I mean? Seeing him make that play on third down stop. He had a couple great pressures on the quarterback. I don't think he had a sack, but he got close a couple times and was disruptive in the run game a couple times. So I was super happy to see him making him showing up in this preseason game, and especially after we didn't think he was going to play at all.
Frankly, I'm excited to see all the new faces on the defensive line because my God, the last year's defensive line, awful. That was painful. That was absolutely painful. And I preached all last year, like, we need to fix this front seven because my God, that was god awful. And I was so excited that we got even Godchow, Matt Judon,
Henry Anderson,
Christian Barmore, who I don't know how we got him, but we did.
In the second round.
In the second round somehow. And like, I was so excited to see him. We'll eventually see him, but I will be so excited. He's gonna have a great year. He's gonna play this year and he's gonna have a great year.
Yeah, he might be the most impactful rookie that we have on this team.
He might be. He really actually might be. Even if Max Jones were to play some of the year, I think Barmore will take the rookie of the year for us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I'm excited to see Barmore. There's so many new faces, so it's hard to watch them all. But it's super exciting. I mean, we still haven't even seen some of the new faces. We haven't seen two of our biggest signings, Hunter Henry and Nelson Aguilar, and we haven't seen our second round draft pick, Christian Barmore. So there's so many guys that are still left to see, and I don't know. I know Hunter Henry's supposed to be out a couple weeks, so I don't know if we'll see him in the third preseason game at all. It kind of depends. I think that's what I kind of figured, but we also don't really know how they're going to lay out these preseason games. You know what I mean? It was kind of a schedule with the 4 preseason games. We knew who was going to play when usually, but I think it's kind of up for grabs this year on if they'll use that third preseason game like they use the fourth, or how they'll do that. But
I know they're not new faces, but I was really excited to see that they were back. Van Noy and Hightower.
Yeah.
Both of them, especially Hightower. I was really, really excited that we got them back because they are going to be huge pieces to this defense.
And them knowing the defense and being a part of this defense for many years is just helps all these new guys, I think, learn it even faster. They got 2 great veterans who've been in the system for a while to lean on and ask any questions to, whatever they want. But that's just going to help this defensive line and this front seven mold together even quicker.
Thank God. No, that front seven was painful. That was so
frustrating to watch last year. The Miami game late, the San Francisco game, it was just, it was brutal.
It was so bad that it made the corners look bad because the corner, our secondary was good, but like they can only they can't cover for more than
26 seconds. Yeah, it's like you want to leave them out there for a minute. Like against Houston, Deshaun Watson was standing in the pocket for like 3 years and was just. What do you expect?
Yeah, I've never seen a quarterback so comfortable in an NFL game.
Yeah, being rushed by athletes. It's like
he was a statue in that pocket because he could.
Yeah, he could be. He could sit back there and do whatever he wanted.
Sick throws, like
yeah, that game was so frustrating.
The whole season was frustrating, but yeah,
absolutely. But just we got so many new pieces. This defense should be much improved. We'll kind of touch on one guy who's kind of a pillar to this defense. What are your thoughts on cornerback Stephon Gilmore? And are you concerned at all that he won't be starting for us week 1?
I am concerned about that, and that makes me concerned about the position as a whole. And depth-wise, because and I've started thinking this at camp, and it showed today.
There was the next question right there. How much does this depth at corner scare you for the upcoming season?
Oh, it scares me a lot if Gilmore is not here, because as of right now, if Gilmore's out, it's J.C. Jackson, cornerback 1, and Jalen Mills, cornerback 2. I do not like Jalen Mills at cornerback 2 whatsoever. It showed today against McLaurin. That was like total
he got toasted
mismatch.
Like first drive, first
play of the
plays.
game.
Yeah.
It was I had him for 2 negative plays before he was even out of the game. And
he wasn't even within like a couple yards of McLaurin. Like it was almost like who's covering him because he wasn't even on the screen when he first caught it. It was like, what's going on?
He's been getting beat on one-on-ones all camp, and it showed today. That is going to be a problem. Like he's a good safety. I think he's a better safety than he is corner, kind of like McCourty. As a one-on-one in man coverage, that's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be like watching Jason McCourty again. Because he was starting to struggle at the end of his tenure here, one-on-one. But no, Mills, I do not want him at cornerback too. And then the rest is just question marks. Oh, Juwan Williams, holy crap, does he suck? Like he stinks.
One interception, but you can't. I mean, the ball was tipped in the air.
That was gifted to him. That was like a Deron Harmon gift. That was gifted to him. And then the final play of the game. I don't know if you even saw it because you were making the graphics, but like the 2-point conversion that in the corner, it was a fade to the end zone, and
he punched it out or whatever.
Punched it out. He dropped it. He didn't even drop it. It was like the survivor on the ground crap all over again. That was one of the worst calls I've ever seen, by the way. But I
think they just wanted the game to not end in a tie. I think that was probably what they were doing.
It must have been because that was a terrible call. But regardless, he caught the ball. Williams didn't do jack shit against him. He didn't touch the ball. He didn't even touch the receiver, really. He got cooked in the corner of the end zone. And it's just, it sums up his day. He got I think he had one pass breakup, but that's about it. And he's been getting cooked all camp long. Like there was one play in camp that just it sums up that draft class. It was Nikhil Burns.
Oh, when Nikhil shook him for that diving catch.
Oh, not even that one. There was that
another one.
There was another
one. He got shook by Nikhil twice. Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go.
He got cooked by Nikhil Harry, and then Nikhil Harry dropped it. So that was a summary of that draft class. But Juwan Williams has sucked this training camp, and he was trash in this game. And he's playing with the third stringers, for Christ's sake. What's his third year, second round pick? We traded up for the guy, I think. Man, wow. That outside of Gilmore and JC Jackson, it's scary. And I always leave off Jonathan Jones because he's the slot guy. I'm talking more boundary guys.
And that's what a lot of people comment and stuff is say, did you forget Jonathan Jones exists? It's like, we're talking about outside corners. Jonathan Jones is set. He's good. He's a great slot corner. He's one of the best in the league. He's been great for us, but
exactly.
That's what I've been saying. The depth at this cornerback position is scary. It's
a lot scarier than people think.
I know people aren't concerned because it's like, oh, we got Gilmore, JC Jackson, Jonathan Jones. It's like, well, I mean, that's awesome. It is. That's great. If one guy at outside corner gets hurt, it's going to be ugly. There's going to be
even Jonathan Jones is hurt. Who's you going to put at slot corner?
Yeah, I mean,
like maybe like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, something like that.
Who was decent? Who actually had a good game today?
Jackson.
Yeah.
He made.
I'm thinking think of the right guy. The numbers all kind of look the same to me. But
30, I saw 35 make at least one play, so that's what I.
He had a decent game. He had a decent game.
I agree.
And he's a decent player. Actually, I don't hate him, but
it sounds like he's had a good camp.
A decent camp. He's had a pretty good camp. I got nothing special, but he's been good. But like, again, I wouldn't feel comfortable. He was our second cornerback. I would. So I mean, like. They got to do something about Gilmore. They got to get him back because if we don't, that's going to be an issue.
And that's my biggest concern of this team. If there's one downfall to this team, it's going to be the cornerback depth. If anybody gets injured, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, what if Jonathan Jones and Gilmore go? Then what?
You have nobody. You're screwed. You're going to have Jalen
what are you going to do?
And Michael Jackson
as your cornerback 1 and 2. Like that's horrendous.
Diversion.
It's
Diversion's going to be your slot corner. Get ready.
Oh god. Yeah, no, but that's a big concern of mine. You know what I mean? It's scary that the cornerback depth. That's the one problem at this team. We have so much depth at all these other positions, and corners one where we're really lacking. So I think we got to either address that somewhere outside. But it's disappointing if you think about it. If Juwan Williams worked out as a second round pick, we'd be set. You know what I mean?
Serious, man.
So it's disappointing having a second round pick you used on this guy and he didn't.
Another second round DB that didn't work out. Like just added to the list.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
I was excited for him too. I was excited for him because he's a big dude. I'm like,
yeah, was 6'3".
In a day and age where tight ends are becoming more of a threat, you think, he'd be a great guy to cover tight ends with. He
did decent last year. He's once in a while, but it's just
he might be better for doing. He struggled against Waller, but again, he's more of a receiver. Yeah. But
exactly, Waller's just a beast too.
Against Gesicki, he was decent. He might be better at covering tight ends in general because tight ends are generally slower. Maybe he can keep up, but that's not even like an insult. Like that's like might be actually a case for him to stay on the team. Besides that, I don't know, man. It's scary. It's scary.
I agree with you. That position is a concern of mine.
It's scary and it's an underrated issue. Like and you said you hit the nail on the head. That might be if there's gonna be a downfall of this team. That might be it. Like last year, going into the year, like front seven was one of those things like you didn't think about. There's always something that you don't think about often that ends up being an issue for the team.
I think that's that for this year.
That corner is going to be that because either Gilmore's not going to be here or someone's going to go down, and you're going to be like, "Oh, what do we do?" And just not much you can really do after that at this point. So
and even if nobody goes down, I mean, we've touched on it before. Not Jonathan Jones. Jason McCourty, played 65% of the snaps last year at outside corners. 65%. So where are those snaps going? You know what I mean? Somebody's got to take 65% of the snaps. We got to split that up somehow between somebody, and that's not including Gilmore and JC Jackson. So it's just, I don't know. It's scary. I like Jalen Mills, but
I like him as a safety, not a corner.
Exactly.
Maybe
I like him as
zone.
a versatile piece that you can use. Yeah, maybe zone coverage, but as a safety, guy in the box, he can do different things in that facet. But there's a reason they moved him to safety, and that's because he is not good at playing outside cornerback. So
seriously,
that was one of the free agent signings. We signed him for like a few years, $24 million. So it's like
that was a weird signing. I did not know what
I had no idea why we signed him.
I guess he kind of reminds me of Pat Chung. Like he got like kind of versatile, kind of safety like that.
But we have good depth of safety already.
We do. Maybe I said this. I was talking in a group chat last night. I had a theory. Maybe he's Devin McCourty insurance because he's on the last year of his deal. He considered retirement before his last deal. So at least I think he did. Maybe he said to Bill behind the scenes that this may be his last year, or maybe he's preparing for it and he's Devin McCourty insurance. Because I feel like Kyle Duggar's more in the Chung role about like getting in the box, like stopping the run kind of dude.
That's what I was just gonna say. Maybe that could also be Kyle Duggar a little bit. That's something he did in college. He played that more deep safety role. I agree. I think he's better in the box. He's explosive, but he struggled a little bit covering tight end. So
yeah, he's still got to work on that.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit in coverage in that sense. So maybe he's the guy that's better at playing that deep safety role. Maybe Jalen Mills slides into that strong safety and he covers tight ends because a guy like McLaurin, it didn't look like he was keeping up with very well and struggling to cover him. So maybe he has better success against tight ends. But yeah, that was
like
one of them.
Williams.
Yeah, every bad corner we have, we're just gonna throw them on tight ends and see how they do.
Right. Every stiff that Bill picks in the second round at corner is put him on tight ends because that's probably the only person they can hang on to.
Oh God, yeah. So that was one of the more head scratching signings of the year. I figured, okay, we got to have some role in mind for him if we're signing him to 4-year, $24 million contract. But I mean,
if it works out, great. But I just don't know where.
I don't see where he's going to play, which is my concern. I would have rather spent that money on a guy who can play outside corner and play it well. I
was honestly surprised we didn't draft someone. I thought for sure we'd draft a corner.
I did too. And that early on, that was what I was looking for.
Because even if Gilmore's yeah, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was thinking. If we didn't get a quarterback, I thought maybe we were going to draft some like a cornerback, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, somebody. You know what I mean? So I was surprised we didn't address that in the draft. I'm glad we didn't take one in the second round because, we know how that would have went. So
for one, second round history isn't very great at corner, and plus I'm really happy with Barmore.
I'm very happy with how our draft went.
It's with. But even if Gilmore's here and wasn't having this issue and we get him back here, he's still in a contract. Like he's in a contract year. JC Jackson's also in a contract year on the tender. So even then, like what the hell? Like what happens at corner after this year? I feel like JC Jackson, they're gonna open the pocketbooks for him or the checkbooks. They're gonna open the checkbooks for him because if you don't have him back, then Gilmore's gone, like assuming Gilmore's gone, you got to bring back one of them. I don't think you bring back both of them. I don't think you can do that, but you got to bring back one of them.
I'm curious to hear this. What are your thoughts on JC Jackson as a number one corner? Do you have confidence in him being able to be that number one guy for us? Or do you think we'll either have to keep Gilmore or grab somebody else who's a true cornerback one in free agency next year?
See, we're so used to Gilmore being the shutdown elite corner that he is. I think JC Jackson can be a number 1 corner. I don't think he's an elite shutdown corner, but as a 1, he's solid. Like, he's going to struggle against Stephon. You can't put him on an island, is what you like. I don't think you can do that with the top receivers in the league, like Diggs. So with that, like, I think he's a borderline 1, in my opinion. He's borderline. Like, if he's your 1, you're in good shape. But preferably,
I think he's floating in that territory. Yeah.
Yeah. Preferably, you'd like him as your 2nd. If he's your 2nd, you're in really good shape.
Exactly. It's kind of a. I feel okay if he's cornerback 1. I feel really good if he's cornerback 2. But
exactly.
I don't feel great about him being that cornerback 1 where he's at right now. He's young. He can progress even more. He's shown a lot of talent, but I don't feel great about him being cornerback 1 because I don't feel comfortable leaving on an island with the top receivers. And that's something that this defense has needed so much over the past, decade, 2 decades. We've always had that guy when we have that lockdown corner who we can say, okay, go cover DeAndre Hopkins and we don't have to worry about him tonight. Go cover Odell, go cover Julio, whoever. When we can leave that guy on an island with a cornerback, it just opens up the defense and what we can do with the different pieces. So that's my only concern with him being cornerback 1.
And that made it easier to cover up for the lack of a defensive line that we haven't had we haven't had a defensive line in years. It's so crazy. It's like and we've made up for it with linebackers and corners because like you said, you put Gilmore on an island with the top receiver. It allows you to send more guys on a blitz and still have everyone covered.
Exactly, 0 blitz, all that stuff.
Yeah, like you can't exactly do that anymore. I wonder if like one of the reasons besides not being able to stop the run that they beefed up the defensive lines because they want to get pressure. They need to get pressure on just sending 4. Because we're losing or eventually going to lose Gilmore. JC Jackson should still hopefully be around, but then it's Mills who can't do 1-on-1. Juwan Williams can't do much of 1-on-1.
He can't do anything.
He might not be able to do anything. It's just, so you may have to play more zone. So you may have to get there with more of a 4-man rush. Maybe that's the reason behind it. I don't know. It's corner's scary. It's definitely scary.
It really is. Not only the present, but the future as well. We got some big decisions to make, and I think
I cannot believe we did not draft someone.
I can't either, and I think that's definitely going to be at the top of their list next year. We got to get a corner, 1st round, 2nd round, maybe not 2nd round, but I take that back. 1st round, 3rd round, 4th, wherever, everywhere but the 2nd round.
Better hope it works better in the 1st round.
Yeah, holy, oh god, yeah, that'll be even worse. We'll draft a corner in the 1st round next year, and he'll be a bust, just like the 2nd rounders. Great. God, but yeah, that position.
I'd stop watching the draft at that point.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I give up. Come on, this is ridiculous.
I'll skip the draft and just I'll see you in preseason.
Exactly.
I'll tell you if you can play or not.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll tell you then. But
I'll tell you, like, I'll watch these players. I'll tell you if they can play or not, and then you can tell me where they were drafted.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, okay, or I'll be like, okay, well, great. So that guy sucks. Where was he drafted? 1st round, 10th overall. Man. Okay, that's great. All right,
man.
But yeah, so this corner depth does scare me a little bit, but I don't even remember what we were talking about.
It was corner. Like, is it? This is kind of a touch off topic, but Bill's better at finding undrafted corners than he is drafting them. Have you noticed that?
And that's
Jordan Richards, Juwan Williams, and
Malcolm Butler, JC Jackson.
Malcolm Butler, Jason Jackson. What's that other dude we drafted in the 2nd round? That was just some random. What was his name? Was it Raz Dallin? Was he a wide receiver or was he a corner? Razai Dallin? What was his name? Am I saying that right? I don't think I'm saying that right.
Raisin?
Raisin. Razai. I thought it was like Razai Dallin or something.
Let's see.
Like, yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Ratio Dallin. That's not it.
Razai Dowlin. I don't know what position he played.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was a corner. I could have sworn he was a corner. And it's not telling me because for some reason, he's a safety. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, defensive back, whatever.
Yeah, we took him in this. I think we took him in the 2nd round. He was drafted by the Patriots. Yeah, in the 2nd round in 2011.
Yeah.
And he was just a bum. I don't even think he made the team, really.
I mean, imagine if we didn't get J.C. Jackson undrafted.
Razai Dowling. Yeah, if he did, we didn't have him. We'd have Gilmore, but Butler might still be here. They probably would have just been like, okay, fine.
That's true.
But yeah, Malcolm Butler, J.C. Jackson. I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird.
It's very odd. I mean,
he cannot draft corners to save his life. Has he drafted one good corner?
High up in the draft.
Devin McCourty, maybe. He wasn't great at corner. They moved him to safety.
When he was safety, he was good, but that was first round, right?
Yeah, he's first round, and he's still here. He's a really good safety, but corner, I don't know. I didn't like him at corner. So
because he was drafted as a corner, right?
He was drafted as a corner.
Then we moved
now
him
he's
to safety, and he's been phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, he's been a pillar of our defense for forever, obviously. But
so besides him, what corner have we drafted that's been good? Was Ty Law? I don't think Bill drafted Ty Law. I think he was already there.
I think you're right.
So I
it's
can't.
Weird. It's like with cornerbacks, undrafted guys. Bill finds gems. He can't draft one early on, and then offensive linemen. I mean, we grab guys super late or undraft, like Michael Onwenu, 6th round pick last year, and he was one of the best. Best rookie offensive lineman, and he was a top offensive lineman in the league.
It's great.
It's crazy.
Wide receiver. Best wide receiver we drafted was Julian Edelman in the 7th round.
Yeah, and then we got like Jacoby Myers has been good for us. It's
undrafted.
Exactly.
We signed Amendola. He drafted Deion Branch, and I believe he was a 4th. So that was good. And Malcolm Mitchell, which obviously we know what happened with him.
Yeah.
But wide receiver hasn't been so hot, and especially in the early rounds, as we know.
Yeah, geez.
With Aaron Dobson and N'Keal Harry.
Yeah. But it's very odd. Like you'd think that it'd be easier to scout that top talent than find somebody undrafted. But I mean, hey.
Closer to the ball, Bill is better at, in my opinion. Like the closer to the ball he drafts at, the better the better he's at drafting that position.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barmore is going to be great for us.
Barmore, I'm so
offensive lineman. We've drafted some great offensive linemen kind of later in rounds too. Isaiah Wynn's not bad. I wouldn't say he's a bust as a 1st round pick or anything.
No, he's not.
He struggled just because of injury. I mean, that's been his concern. If he had no injuries, I think he's a great offensive tackle. I mean,
he's not even injury prone, to be perfectly honest. He's had 2 fluke injuries. One was Achilles, again fluke. Then the turf toe. I don't know why they put him on IR.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass, though.
Yeah,
too.
Like if the IR rules were as they were now, he would have been back a lot sooner. It's like that's.
I love the new IR rule. IR rules. I think it's awesome.
Great. It's great.
If people can come back sooner, I don't know why they didn't do this sooner. So that's one of the things about the COVID season that I love the new rule that they made, because that's awesome. That's
the best rule they've made so far. That's a great rule.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
I hope they keep that forever. That's great.
They really should. And being able to bring guys back, unlimited guys, doesn't matter. I think that's gonna be a great thing for every team. So I mean, we've already seen some guys go down with injuries. In Madden, what?
Put that in Madden too. That would be nice.
Yeah. So we'll kind of wrap it up with one more thing.
Yep.
Kind of talking about the special teamers. Undrafted free agent kicker Quinn Nordine went 3 for 3 field goals from 35 yards, 50 and 40, and then went 1 for 2 on extra points. So, I mean, is this a real kicker competition now? How do you think that
we finally have a kicker? Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that because Nick Folk was good. I mean, he was
really good last year for us.
Do we finally have a long-term kicker? Is what I mean to say.
Yeah, that's a better way to word it.
I hope so. I mean, he did pretty well. He missed an extra point or 2. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. He was on his couch like 2 weeks ago, so I'm not too worried.
on LinkedIn
looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I thought that was hilarious.
But so far, he's better than anyone we brought in the last 2 years besides Nick Folk.
In that draft last year, oh my God, Wasser, don't even get me started on him. That was horrible. That was horrible. There were so many better kickers you could have taken, and we take the worst one. Yeah. Does he even have a job anywhere?
No, he's gone. He's out of the league. No one's gonna touch him.
I figured.
Where the hell is he even from? I don't know who was hurt. No one heard of that dude before.
I don't know. I remember his college jersey had green on it. It was white and green, I think. I don't remember
where
Yeah. That was the kicker situation has not been phenomenal.
God, that was a nightmare.
But I thought Nordin was really good though. He was splitting them right through the uprights. His field goals, at least, he drilled all three of them right down the middle. And that 50-yarder looked like he would have been good from 60. I mean, that one went in with ease. So he's definitely got a leg on him.
Oh yeah, he has a leg. He's accurate. Again, he missed one extra point, which if that's the only thing he missed, it's fine by me. I'll take
1 point, not 3 you're missing, I guess, right?
I'll take it. I will take it. And I think he makes the team. I think he'll make the team.
You think Nick Folk makes it as well, or you think they take Nordin as the guy? I think it's going to be hard for him to take the job early.
So here's
just because Nick Folk was so consistent last year.
Yeah, and here's another twist in it. I think Nick Folk's contract is like fully guaranteed. So all
right.
So that might
as well.
That might keep that might keep him on the team. So I'll double check that. So don't quote me on that. I meant to double check.
$2 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check that. I think you're right. Bolin or somebody tweeted that today. That I think his contract might be fully guaranteed. So I mean, so we might have 2, but I mean, I think at least Norton's at least gonna be on the practice squad. At the very least, he's gonna be on the practice squad.
My only concern is if he continues to impress and we cut him and try to get him to the practice squad, that somebody's gonna pick him up.
Oh yeah, so he did tweet this. Folks, 1.1 million salary is fully guaranteed.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's not a huge deal, but still,
we really guaranteed a salary for a kicker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, before Nordin, we didn't really have any options.
I guess I can't complain too much. It's $1 million.
Yes, it's not like we paid him like $10 million guaranteed or anything for a kicker.
Yeah, I shouldn't be so picky, but I mean, I think Norton, he at least makes the practice squad. He's at least going to stick around. I don't know. Can you still protect some practice squad players?
I don't know. I don't know if they changed the rules for that or not this year.
I don't think they did. I don't know.
But
if they do, I think that's something I'd advise. Like, put him on the practice squad and protect him. If you can't do that, maybe carry an extra kicker, and that'll be N'Keal Harry's spot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. N'Keal, you're gone. We're gonna have 2 kickers. I think the kicker can probably get more separation than you, so we're gonna keep him anyways.
We're using your spot for a kicker. That's how much you suck.
For a backup kicker. Not a starting kicker, a backup kicker. But yeah,
it is.
Jake Bailey continues to just. I mean, he's incredible. He's one of the best punters in the league. He just every time he kicks the ball, it's just like it's a moonshot, and he's a weapon for us.
I've always wondered like why we didn't have Jake Bailey do some kicks. I got the answer to that at my last day of training camp. It's because he's not very good at field goals.
So he did some field goals.
He did some field goals. He's not very good. So
why doesn't Nordin take kickoffs now? That
I mean
he's got the leg for it.
He does, but Bailey's got like a robo leg. So I mean, he could really boot that thing out of the end zone if he wants. I think Belichick like gets off on that kind of like control, like just being able to control special teams, like because Bailey can put the ball wherever he wants. Like whether he wants
sitting
them
down at the 1.
Sit it down at the 1 if he wants them to return it because they see something on film, maybe fumbles or whatever, or he wants to just boot it out of the end zone. He can do whatever he wants, pretty much. So I think Belichick would really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think he was an absolute find. He's been great for us, but
spending a 5th round pick on the guy for a punter, he better be the best punter I've ever seen.
That's true, but I mean, he's been great. He's lived up to
he has.
all expectations and more. He's exceeded them. He's been awesome for us. But one more thing that I kind of forgot about, I wanted to get your thoughts on was your thoughts on kind of the fullback situation. Do you think Jacob Johnson has a role on this team this year, or I kind of thought that maybe Dalton Keene, even though I thought that maybe he could have, seeing how we're not going to have snaps with a fullback on the field necessarily, we're probably going to be running more 2 tight end sets. So I figured, okay, maybe Jacob Johnson doesn't have a huge role. Maybe Dalton Keene can step in for those snaps. I don't really want to see Jonnu. I don't want him to get hurt being used as a battering ram. But what do you think Jacob Johnson's role in this team will be this year, if any?
I think he'll just as simple as being the fullback. I did think about Dalton Keene in that role because what's the guy in San Francisco? What's his name?
Use check.
Yeah.
Use check. Yep.
I was wondering if they used him kind of like that role where it's like he's the fullback. He can block, but like he's also can go out for pass. He's a little faster than the average fullback.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
maybe that could be like a weapon for us. Obviously, that's no longer a thing. But I think, I mean, Jakob Johnson, there was a play early on a Damian Harris run where he freaking ran into a brick wall. That was like a huge hit he took. Yeah. He's a decent fullback. I don't think he's anything special. I would have liked to see.
He's not bad though.
What was his name? Vitala?
Dan Vitale or something.
Vitale, yeah. So, like, I would have liked to. I wanted
Green
to see
Bay.
him.
I did too.
Yeah, but I mean, Jakob Johnson, he's good enough. It's a fullback. I'm not too concerned. As long as he can block, it'd be fine by me. So
it seems like we have more control too with him being in the international pathway program or whatever. If we wanted to stash him on the practice squad or something like that,
easy to keep him on the roster, huh? Like he doesn't feel like he like the international stuff. He gives him a bunch of options.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know all the details on it.
Does he even count as a roster spot?
Not right now.
Yeah,
I don't think. But I think I don't know. It's weird how that works. All the different rules they have for that.
At some points, he doesn't even count towards the roster, but he's on the team.
Yeah, it's very odd.
That's something that's strange.
I guess it's just trying to create opportunities for different guys internationally to be able to be on a team and get their opportunity and not count against the rosters like during training camp or
right.
OTAs.
If a team saw they had a guy like a fullback from another country and then the roster cuts are getting tight, they're gonna probably we can afford to lose him, and then all of a sudden his opportunity's gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that might be why.
That's what I think it is. I think that's the reason why. But yeah, I mean,
I think he's got a role. I think he'll stick around for a little bit longer.
I just, with what Wesley Keane was saying, I thought Dalton Keane was going to have a big role because that's his name, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's friends with Gillette Nation.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty good buddies, huh?
Oh yeah, no, they get along great.
Yeah,
they have really deep conversations. That
was so funny.
They go way back. Man, wow! I don't.
What is up with it? Keane and Ossie's parents are both like, I don't know what's going. They just hate Patriots pages or something because
Ethan just has his way with players, like lower level players and their families. For some reason, he gets in touch with them.
Yeah, jeez, yeah. That whole situation was funny, but I think that's pretty much all I got for you. You got anything else you want to talk about, or? I
think we hit on pretty much everything.
All right, I think we did as well. So
thank you for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah, huge thanks to you for coming on. This was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime. Maybe during the season or closer towards the season at least. But this was fun. Thank you guys for watching. Go follow him, Pats.discuss on Instagram. Is that the same on Twitter as well?
Yes.
And then go listen to Yo Soy Fiesta podcast, right, on SoundCloud.
Yep.
But yeah, huge thank you to you for coming on. It was fun. Finally got to watch some football tonight. Can't wait to see next week going against the Eagles in Philadelphia, I believe, right? And then one more preseason game. But I think we're going to see even more of the starters next week. So it's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
All right. That's it for this time. And tune back in next week. We should have an episode beginning of the week. But yeah, until then, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.